Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to the Raider Rock Gym on the campus of Riverdale High School for some in-school basketball. It is 12:04 p.m. here in Fort Myers, Florida, and we're playing some boys varsity basketball action between the Riverdale Raiders and the Mariner Tritons. It is a packed house. We're ready to go. Jaquez Dickerson is going to be leaning in for the opening tip-off, which will be won by Mariner as they move from right to left across your computer screen. Raiders move from right to left, and your opening quarter of play. Carrying the ball out to the right point is number 5, Isaiah Derritt. Derritt hands it over to Jared Velez, who swishes it over to Sean Kostick. Kostick waits for a man open. He finds Tyrell Smith, who puts the give and go over to Jared Velez once again, who awaits at the midpoint. Over to the right end to Tyrell Smith, and back down the middle to Trenton Ferrara. Mariner in this opening minute of play, they're doing a great job of passing that ball around and making sure everyone has a turn. Isaiah Derritt throws in the layup, and Mariner has drawn first blood. The Raiders cleared out of their own zone. It's led by Jacob Tracy, who is wearing the Raiders home uniforms. They're white, garnet red script Raiders across the chest, garnet red numbers on the front and back, white pants with the garnet and gold stripe running down the sides. There's a foul on the play, and it's going to go against Mariner. Raiders have control of the ball. The Tritons, they're dressed in their black uniforms, white script Mariner across the chest, and white numbers on the front and back. Black pants and a white stripe down the side, and Jaquez Dickerson throws in the layup. Raiders are on the board, and you hear this very nice round of applause from the crowd. It is sold out here at the Raider Rock Gym. Having the ball now for Mariner is Jared Velez, who sends it cross court to Tyrell Smith. Smith brings it down the middle, takes a jumper. It's going to be just short as it bounces off the rim. Jacob Tracy sneaking his way in, drops it outside to Dean Wilson. Nails the three-point shot from the left corner. Tyrell Smith is going to bring it down the remainder of the court, who hands out to Trenton Ferrara. Off to the left corner is Tyrell Smith, who throws it deep into the paint. Jumper on the way. It's overthrown by Isaiah Derritt. Rebounder is no good by Derritt, and it's finally stripped away by Dean Wilson. And it's the give and go over to Jacob Tracy. Drops it outside to the right corner, but there's going to be a stoppage of play and a foul. 5:51 left in your first. We are just underway here for some in-school basketball action live from Riverdale High School. 5-2, Raiders are on top. Throwing the ball back into play for the Riverdale Raiders is going to be Dean Wilson from back behind the net. Tosses over to Tracy. Wilson, three-point shot is going to be no good. Ball is going to go off of a Mariner defenseman from the looks of it, and it will. So the Raiders will toss it back in once again. This time it's going to be Jacob Tracy. To the right point he goes to Jaquez Dickerson, and there is the two-pointer from Jacob Tracy. Sean Kostick throws it deep in the paint. Layup is successful from Jamel Myers. Thank you for tuning in to the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network for this presentation of boys varsity basketball action. This is Nick Rush giving you the call. Jaquez Dickerson up the middle. His shot bounces a bit, but it lands right through. It's now 9-4. Raiders on top of Mariner, and a quick response from the Tritons as Isaiah Derritt sinks into. Thrown back into David Johnson. Pass goes incomplete and out of bounds up against the near side. Throwing it back into action is Trenton Ferrara. Well, the Raiders have had a very successful week thus far. This is game 2 of 2 games on the week. At least for the home games, that is. And Riverdale last night defeated Dunbar. They took control all night long, never gave up the lead once. And with that victory last night, Riverdale advanced to a 3-1 win-loss record on the 2015 regular season schedule. Mariner, on the other hand, is 2-0. Mariner fighting on the attacking zone as they dance around the paint. Isaiah Derritt throws it to the outside. He tries to sneak his way in, and the ball goes incomplete. There's now a whistle and a stoppage, and right now Coach Damon Jones is a little upset with the coaching in this game. It sure has been energetic. I'm sure tensions are going to rise just because of the environment. I mean, sellout crowd and back-to-back action. Pass to the outside, left corner. Back out to the point is Dominique Carpenter. Carpenter moves to the opposite end, throws it to the right key. Down the middle, pass up ahead to Amari Haynes, who sinks in his first shot of the game. Raiders now with a 1-point advantage, 4:08 to go on your first. Daniel Malivert tries to leap over a defenseman. He gets a rebound after a failed shot, and the ball trails out of play. Now moving on to the court is Dante Quintella. Daniel Malivert is going to go back to the benches. Throwing it back in is Dean Wilson to Jaquez Dickerson, who's on the free throw line. Sends it out to Dante Quintella, once again just entering the game. Cross feed to Jacob Tracy. Tracy moving down low to the corner, airs it out. His shot travels wide right of the net. Jacob Tracy is going to steal away the ball again. To Dean Wilson, 3 on the way, and he can't make it happen. Isaiah Derritt steals the ball away, travels down the court up to the near side. Here's Amari Haynes down the middle. To Dominique Carpenter, who makes the short toss over to Jamel Myers, and Amari Haynes is able to sink in another one, and Mariner regains their lead. That's their second of the ball game. 10-9 is your score. Jacob Tracy leads the ball out the center. He's being guarded by Derritt. He's looking for a man open. Down to the right corner, Dean Wilson, who trades it back high up to Jacob Tracy. And now there's a foul. And that's going to be a timeout correction, so the Raiders are going to spend that. Seems like they're a little bit frustrated at the moment. That's their first of your first half of play. 10-9 is your score. Mariners on top of Riverdale, 2:55 left in your first. We are going to take a quick break, and we will resume some in-school basketball action on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. 2:55 is left in your first quarter of play. 10-9 is your score. Mariner leads over the Riverdale Raiders after Coach Damon Jones, the head coach of the Riverdale Raiders, spent the team's first timeout of the ball game. Jaquez Dickerson sends it down low to Dean Wilson, who delivers it back over to Dickerson, and the ball bounces out of play. We'll tell you about the head coach for Mariner. It's James Harris. Raiders starting the offensive play out at center court. It's Jacob Tracy again. Jukes off a defenseman, sends it to Wilson. Wilson sneaking his way in. Shot is good. And Raiders hop back on top, but by 1. And a pass is incomplete, and it trails out of bounds. Back and forth action here in your first quarter of play. 11-10 is your score. Raiders on top, 2:24 left to go in your first. And this is an energetic crowd, a sold-out Raider Rock gym. Jamel Myers sends it deep to Isaiah Derritt, who nails through the layup. On the outside, it's Dante Quintella. He is being mugged right now by 2 Mariner defensemen. He's frustrated by that. He throws it out up against a defenseman, and it's going to be another stoppage of play. Well, Mariner, they sure do have one heck of a defense. That's what we're seeing very early on here. Tossing it back in is Jaquez Dickerson from the near corner. And here we go. Sends it to Tracy. Shakes off his defenseman. And is going to try to regroup with the Raider team. Sends it. Cross feed. Dante Quintella, who sits at the left point. Down low at the corner to Deshaun Lane. The ball is stripped of his hands, and that is going to go out of play. Mariner throwing it back in from behind their own net. It starts with Jamel Myers to Jared Velez. Up the middle, left point to Isaiah Derritt. Amari Haynes tries to make the jumper, and it swishes through. 3-point lead now for Mariner as we tick down this first quarter of play. Dickerson hands it off to Jacob Tracy, who travels down the near side. He's trying to wrestle past two Mariner defensemen. Dante Quintella comes to his aid. Quintella trying to ram past one defenseman. Ball travels back into the Raider zone. Over to Tracy. Jacob Tracy zooming his way in, and he nails the 2-point shot. 1 minute to go here in your opening quarter of play. Jamel Myers at the midpoint, and there's going to be a whistle here for a foul. There's a little bit of a stoppage here. Mariners going to throw it back into the play by Jared Velez, who sends it high atop the action, back down low to Tyrell Smith, who barely keeps the ball in bounds. Back to Jared Velez at center court, wrestling past Dante Quintella. Fires a bullet over to Sean Kostick. Kostick tries to put in a pair of points, and he is going to be fouled there. And a pair of free throws are going to come to the aid of Jamel Myers, who actually took the shot there. Mariner up by 1. First shot is no good. 42.2 now on the clock to work with. Fans all around the building, they are chanting, doing whatever they can to make sure they get ahead of Jamel Myers, who nails his second free shot. Dante Quintella is going to be handed the ball. He's being hounded by Mariner defensemen again. Quintella breaks free. Now trailing down the court, who gives it to Malivert. Now here's Jared Tracy making his way in the game with his first shot, and that's going to trail loose of the net. 2-pointer on the way. It's too short. Off the hands of Myers. Now there's a big scram for the ball here. And the foul. Looked like Jacob Tracy was trying to, pardon me, that's Jared Tracy, trying to strip the ball loose of the hands of Jared Velez, and that came down to a scrap. David Johnston is now going to toss it over to Malivert from back behind the net. Ball is loose. Quintella tries to retrieve it, and it goes out of bounds. And Mariner now has control. Tossed over to Jared Velez. Velez dances around the key. One last shot to go here before the end of the quarter. Shot on the way, and it's too forced by Brandon Kostick. That is the end of your first quarter of play. Your score is 15-13. The Mariner Tritons lead over the Riverdale Raiders. Your second quarter of action is coming up right after this from the Raider Rock Gym at Riverdale High School. Basketball action continues on the Riverdale Raiders broadcast network as we head to your second quarter of play in boys varsity basketball between the Mariner Tritons and the Riverdale Raiders. And your second quarter of play, the Mariner Tritons will move from left to right across your computer screen. The Raiders travel from right to left. With the ball now is Sean Kostick off to the far side, and there's going to be a stoppage due to foul. Sean Kostick is going to send the ball back into the play. There's a stoppage as a Mariner player was racing off the court. It's now given to Nehemiah Derritt. Makes a pass. It's going to be chopped away by a Riverdale Raider defenseman. Back out to midcourt. It's Isaiah Derritt. There are two Derritts on this team. You have number 5 Isaiah Derritt and number 21 Nehemiah Derritt. As the ball is going to go out of control and out of the playing court while Mariner is in control. And your opening minute of the second quarter, they have been storming the offensive zone. Over to Nehemiah Derritt. It's going to be ripped down deep into the court. Incomplete, back high up to Sean Kostick, who nails it down. Also, number 2 is Brandon Kostick. Number 3 is Sean Kostick. So make sure not to get those two mixed up, as another layup is coming in for Jaquez Dickerson. That makes your score 18-15, an advantage of Mariner. Jaquez Dickerson picked up the foul. He'll throw in an extra shot. 7:08 left in your second. His free throw bounces around and down onto the court. Isaiah Derritt racing down the near side. Spins, throws it back to the midpoint. Now right side, three-point shot from number 3 himself, Sean Kostick, is no good. Second try is not going to work out for Mariner. It's finally flicked away by Riverdale. Down the middle is Daniel Maliver. Jumper is through after it deflects off of the backboards. Raiders now down by just 1. They're holding in well here against Mariner, but they need to keep up the defensive momentum because that's what's been keeping them alive thus far in your ball game. There's another long distance shot, and it's successful from number 22, Colin Chisholm. Daniel Malivert is going to flick it over to Jacob Tracy. Tracy trying to make his way past Isaiah Derritt, the defenseman on the play. Jacob Tracy loses control. It's a one-on-one for Isaiah Derritt. Dickerson trying to race in, and there's a failed dunk. I believe that was Isaiah Derritt who tried to go for the attempted alley-oop dunk. And it just didn't work. It looks like he was just one step ahead of the ball. And that is what the Riverdale fans like to see. There's a foul against Mariner. Riverdale is going to get back the ball, and Tracy leads the ball back out to center court. Trying to clear out his receivers here as he moves left side. Tosses it back to Dean Wilson. Goes to the right corner. To Malivert, who's going to switch it over to Dean Wilson. Makes a long shot, and it's going to trickle wide of the net. Isaiah Derritt now trying to be covered here by 2 Riverdale defensemen. I saw Jacob Tracy get involved there. Trenton Ferrara now has control at the free throw line. Off to the left corner, trying to sneak his way into the paint. And Mariners going to have to regroup after that failed shot. This is a bullet that's too short. And now it's going to be taken away by Jaquez Dickerson. The Malivert pass is incomplete. Jacob Tracy is going to have to retrieve it. And now there's another break in the action with 4:59 left in your first half. Dean Wilson will put the ball back into play as he tries to overlook Isaiah Derritt, the 6'4" senior. Pass goes over the head of Jaquez Dickerson and into the hands of Tyrell Smith. Smith drops it over to Ferrara. Ferrara delivers it to the right wing point to Isaiah Derritt. There's a long shot coming from Tyrell Smith, and he's not going to make it there. Ball is out. Thanks for joining us once again on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network for some high school basketball action, packed house at the Raider Rock Gym. In fact, it is absolutely sold out here. You see some fans even sitting on the stairs here. That's just how packed it is. It's most likely going to be one of your most attended basketball games of the season because, of course, it's sold out, but it's an energetic atmosphere. Raiders have a timeout going right now, so they're trying to get a boost of energy going before we head into halftime. Coach Jones, Coach Damon Jones, that is trying to rally up his team, and they head back out onto the court. It's going to be tossed back in here by Isaiah Derritt from back behind the net. And Mariners offensive zone throws it into the paint. It's stripped away by Malivert, who throws it over to Jacob Tracy. Tracy trying to swish the ball in between his legs here. Daniel Malivert will take the dribbler. He's under some pressure, trades it back to Tracy, and Jacob Tracy tries to throw it deep down the remainder of the court, and it goes out of play. Here it's going to be Dean Wilson trying to toss it back in from the far side in front of the Dunbar benches, and that will not go as it's stolen away by Mariner. On the outside, midpoint. It's going to be Isaiah Derritt again. Throws it high in the air, and that ball is not going to last as we have another break. Jaquez Dickerson puts the dribbler down to Malivert. Faking out his defenseman, Sean Kostick. And there's another stoppage of play here. And there was something that had to do with the play clock. They just wanted to add on an extra second there to the clock. Nothing wrong with that anyhow. Dean Wilson to Malivert. And his shot is going to bank off the rim. Raiders will not get that second chance as the ball is intercepted by Tyrell Smith, pardon me. Jamel Myers finds Sean Kostick, and what happened there? It was a dunk. It was a dunk from Mariner. Jamel Myers. Wow, it's just crazy how fast-paced a game of basketball can be. Breaking into the zone now is Sean Kostick. He can't work it out, and now it's dropped out the center. Tyrell Smith has control. Fans trying to bring a defense chant here into the Raider Rock Gym. And Jacob Tracy is going to slow down the ball here as he takes it out of the Raider zone end. Three-pointer is going to be way off the backboards, but the rebound is thrown in by David Johnston. Tyrell Smith racing into the paint. He's going to have to keep control of the ball. He's fighting for it with three different Raiders. Jaquez Dickerson, Daniel Malivert, and Jacob Tracy all tried to get their hands on the ball there. Dante Quintella makes his way into the action. Daniel Malivert's going to take a seat. And so is David Johnston. Jared Tracy is going to check into the game as well. His brother Jacob is still on the court as well. Ball is going to be passed back inside to Dante Quintella, and it's going to bounce in front of the Raider bench. Dominique Carpenter will keep the play going. Correction, that's Jared Velez. So Velez, first man he finds is Isaiah Derritt, who gives the soft toss over to Amari Haynes. Sean Kostick is going to pitch it over to Isaiah Derritt. Derritt finds the spot wide open outside, and the three is good from Jared Velez. 26-19 is your score. Mariner is on top with 2:35 left in your first half. Right now it's Dante Quintella with the ball. And now you're going to see Damon Jones call another timeout. That's the third that the Raiders have had. And the first half as well as the ball game, 2:28 left in your opening half of play. 2:28 on the board, and the Raiders have some work to do. Down by 7 points. We'll come back with more basketball right after this break. Raiders resume action. Pardon me there. It's been such a very first half of play, a very quick first half of play rather, that it sure is a challenge keeping up with the action here, but the Raiders come out onto the court after their third timeout. And the first half of play, it's your second quarter, 2:20 left to work with for the Raiders. 26-19 is your score. Mariner on top. Dante Quintella can't nail down a shot. And now to the other end it goes. Layup off the left hand from Dominique Carpenter. Jacob Tracy bringing it down the far side. To the midcourt line. Still on the left end. Passes it low to Wilson. Barely keeps it in. And now Dominique Carpenter is going to steal it. And so will Tracy. 3-on-1. You hear the noise from the crowd. And that is none other than Jacob Tracy netting in another point of shots. Here's Jacob Tracy again off of the interception. And another two on the board. Raiders climbing their way back. 28-23 now on the board between these two teams. Raiders still have 5 points to work with. And there is also a foul going on Tracy. Well, a Mariner defenseman hit Tracy on the play after the shot. So he's going to get an extra free throw on the play. 91 seconds to work with on the clock, and here's Tracy's shot. He makes the three-point play. Raiders down by 4 as Jacob Tracy heads back to the benches. He's going to get his break, and he's done for the first half, more likely. Isaiah Derrett. Rebound coming in for Jamel Myers off of an alley-oop. Quintella finds the ball. He is rushing down the near side, cutting his way across the paint. Wilson, shot is short. It's bobbled around before, regained by Isaiah Derrett into the zone. Takes the shot and a foul. Two shots are going to be awarded here for Isaiah Derrett as he patiently awaits the toss of the ball from the official. His opening shot is right down the middle. It's good. He winds up, tosses the ball. The second one will ring off of the iron. And another shot coming in here from Brandon Kostick as Mariner gain control. And another foul. There's some more controversy going on here. Exactly 1 minute to work with on the clock. There's another shot coming in. Or maybe not. There's just so much confusion. Fans are starting to get upset. They're booing. From the looks of it, Sean Kostick is going to get a shot. It looked like a technical. He's all by himself. His opening shot is missed. So much confusion here in this ball game. Listen to him. Second shot winds through, and that does it for Sean Kostick and his free shots. 32-24, Mariner advances their lead. 1 minute to go in your first half once more. Jacob Tracy, I apologize if I've been getting those two mixed up. Jacob Tracy and Jared Tracy. Jacob Tracy is going to head back out into the court. Jared will head back to the bench. Now let's see him to work with here for both teams. Sean Kostick dribbles it over to Isaiah Derrett. Derrett throws over to the left corner. He tries to meet Jared Velez. Velez making his way all around the attacking end. Ball is loose of his hands and out. of the back of the court. Free throws are coming in once more. This time it's Jared Velez. Mariner is taking advantage of the free throws. Needless to say, here in your second quarter is the opening shot. Rings wide off the backboard. Shot number 2 is right down the middle. 9-point lead for the Tritons. Raiders trying to decrease the deficit here. Stop the bleeding with 35 seconds left. Jaquez Dickerson outside to Deshaun Lane. And that's a little bit of an upsetting moment. There was a foul against Riverdale on the play. The whistle was blown, and then Deshaun Lane netted a three-pointer afterwards. And of course, since the whistle already blew, the 3 points will not count. Foul actually going against Mariner. Riverdale regains control of the ball. Throw is into the back of the court once again. Players scramble around. Jared Tracy with the 2. Leading it out is Isaiah Derritt. Derritt making his way past Jacob Tracy to the outer end. Sean Kostick. Sean Kostick loses the ball. Jacob Tracy outside the lane. 3 is wide. It was too far ahead, and that's going to do it for your first half of play. Through 2 quarters, the Mariner Tritons lead the Riverdale Raiders by a score of 33-26. We have your 10-minute intermission coming up, and we will resume more basketball action right after this on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. We are back at the Raider Rock Gym on the campus of Riverdale High School for boys varsity basketball action. It is the Riverdale Raiders versus the Mariner Tritons in school basketball action. We now enter your third quarter of play. Mariner is up 33-26. It's going to be thrown back into Mariner to start your brand new half in the third quarter. Action starts out with Isaiah Derritt. Lets it over to Sean Kostick. Taps it to Tyrell Smith. Smith at the right point flings it to Jacob Tracy. It's picked off. There's a dunk. It's another dunk. More heroics by Jacob Tracy off of the right hand. We saw him make a dunk last night, but this just sent the crowd on fire. Wow. Jacob Tracy picking off a pass rather from Isaiah Derritt, and it was just him the rest of the way. Derritt has the ball right now, trying to fight off Jacob Tracy. He's going to slide it on over to Dominique Carpenter. Off to the right end now. Isaiah Derritt up at the key. Down the middle. Three-pointer is in from Sean Kostick. Jacob Tracy being crowded in to the near side corner. He finally lets it go over to Jaquez Dickerson. He puts his elbow into a defenseman there. Amari Haynes was standing in the middle of that shot, or actually that was Isaiah Derritt again. So excuse me there, Derritt has the ball. He's been one of those power players for Mariner thus far. He's been out on the court for nearly this entire ball game. I apologize if I make a few mess ups every once in a while here on the broadcast, but it's just this crowd is absolutely amazing. It is an awesome high school basketball atmosphere as Jacob Tracy puts in another layup. I mean, it is absolutely electric. This is the type of crowd you want to play in front of if you're a basketball player, no matter what level it may be that you are at. Here's a three. It's short from the right point. Sean Kostick took the original shot. Rebound is successful from Jamel Myers. Jacob Tracy throwing it down low to Dean Wilson. Right corner, lobs it in the air. It swishes around. No good. Rebound is a score from David Johnston. 38-32. Mariners on top. 5:42 to go in your third. And another long distance shot from the left corner isn't going to make it to the net. David Johnston fumbles the ball. It's regained by Mariner. Tyrell Smith. Give and go to Isaiah Derritt. Slides it on over to Sean Kostick at the left point. He's being heavily guarded by Daniel Malivert. Going down low in the paint to Jamel Myers. Mariner now moving the ball pretty slowly as Sean Kostick is going to regain it back. And his possession makes the pitch over to Amari Haynes. Opposite end to Isaiah Derritt. Back up the middle to Tyrell Smith. Right corner. Pass coming from Amari Haynes is going to be incomplete and out of the action. We are just getting back from halftime in this in-school basketball game. It's a nice tradition we have once a year here at Riverdale High School. It alternates between girls basketball and boys basketball. So one year we'd have the girls varsity basketball team play here for the in-school game, and then the next year the boys team would play here for the in-school basketball game, and they alternate back and forth. Throwing the ball back into action is Jared Velez from behind the net. Mariner in the offensive zone. Making a shot, he's fouled. It's none other than Isaiah Derritt. Foul on the play as Derritt caught an elbow during the shot, and he's going to pick up 2 free throws. Opening shot is going to bounce off the backboards. Fans making their way to their feet here at the Raider Rock Gym. His last one is a swisher. Raiders now have it. Making it down the near side is Daniel Malivert. 3 is good. Raiders down by 4 now with 4.5 to play in your third. Jared Velez to Jamel Myers. Lopping it down to Sean Kostick, who nails a long shot from the right corner. 4-3. Daniel Malivert pauses at midcourt. He's going to dash out to the midpoint. He hands it off to Jacob Tracy, and there is going to be a foul there as he picked up a shove. Riverdale throwing it back in from behind the net of the offensive zone. Dean Wilson looks for a man to send it to. It's picked off in the air by Jared Velez, and there's a foul. This has been an entertaining game ever since the opening tip-off. Daniel Malivert is going to head to the bench here. Throwing it in from the out of bounds lines is going to be Isaiah Derritt. Isaiah Derritt is back on the sidelines again as he throws it in. He's going to find Jared Velez, who catches the ball right off the fly and awaits a receiver at mid-key to the right side. To Isaiah Derritt. He's trying to communicate with some of his fellow Mariner ball players. Nehemiah Derritt is going to get a whistle here. There is another foul. It's been a foul-filled game here, but that's just the way basketball is. And now Mariner calls their first timeout of the second half as well as the game. Well, right now the Raiders needed a little bit of a break. It looks like they were a bit gassed out there on the court, so This is a well-needed break. You are listening to the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. This is Nick Rush giving you the call throughout today's ball game. And it's been great back and forth action between the Raiders and the Mariner Tritons. And we hope to see this game come to an amazing end, but we still have a long way to go before this one's officially in the books. As we get back into the play, Isaiah Derritt is going to hurl it back onto the court. He finds Jamel Myers. It's a choppy pass, and it's picked off by Wilson. Wilson is going to underhand it to Jacob Tracy, creeping his way in from the left point. Cross feed, down low to Deshaun Lane. It bounces off the top of the backboards and overturned, and the advantage of Mariner. Layup is through for Isaiah Derritt. Plus the foul against Riverdale, so Isaiah Derritt is going to come in with hopes of making the three-point play. He lays it up in the air, and no problem putting it in the back of the net. 10-point lead for Mariner. Dean Wilson has the ball picked away from him. Up the middle. Oh, layup has failed from Nehemiah Derritt, rushing right down the middle into the paint. There's a foul on the play anyhow, so Nehemiah Derritt is going to head to the line for two. Derritt is not going to make his first shot. Dean Wilson is going to head back to the benches here. And so is Jared Tracy from the looks of it. No, he's just going to head back onto the opposite end of the court after this free throw attempt, which is going to be incomplete. Here's Jaquez Dickerson. Passes it to Quintella, dashing down the court. Makes it to the paint before he lobs it down. It's a big scram for the ball, and now there's the stop. Sean. All right, so we have this figured out. It's going to be Jacob Tracy throwing it back in from the near corner. Over to Jacob Tracy on the outside. Three-pointer. It is an air ball. It looked like he was just a little too far out there on the three-point attempt. As that wasn't going to the net, it was going to the out-of-bound markers. It looks like it could have had the distance, his three-point shot, but it just went wide right. Mariner on the offensive rush. Right point, sneaking his way in, and making an incomplete layup is Isaiah Derritt. Down the middle is Quintella, switching off to the near side, spins around at the corner. He's being pressured, and they're saying he stepped out of bounds right in front of the Riverdale benches. Some substitutions coming in here for Mariner. It's going to be Jamel Myers and Sean Kostick heading to the benches. Throwing it back in is Deshaun Lane. Lane goes to the opposite end, finds Jaquez Dickerson, regains his footing, fighting past Trenton Ferrara, outside, left key. It's Jacob Tracy. Tracy switches to the opposite end. Trying to cross over Tyrell Smith. Back high up to Deshaun Lane, but there's a whistle blown. as a Mariner player was knocked down. 45-35 now your score. Mariners still in the lead. They've had the lead for the entire second half of play. 2:07 left in your quarter number 3. Deshaun Lane is throwing it back in to the near side. Finds Jacob Tracy. Outside to Quintella. Three-pointer was close, but it's back down on the court. Down the near side to Brandon Kostick. Brandon Kostick brings it up the middle to Isaiah Derrett. Shot is going to dribble back down to Jacob Tracy. Tracy now in the paint. Jumper is right in. Isaiah Derrett sending it to Brandon Kostick. Kostick to the left key to Tyrell Smith. Now opposite end to Brandon Kostick. Kostick outside again to Isaiah Derrett. Tried to go for a layup. And then you have Jaquez Dickerson saying, not today. Jacob Tracy with another layup, and it goes in after deflecting off the backboards. Well, there's one thing I've learned in the past couple of ball games. It's that Jacob Tracy, he is a player that knows how to play basketball under pressure. He is looking very calm, and here he is stripping the ball again. Dante Quintella all alone. He is going to get hit from behind by Tyrell Smith as his short shot is going to be picked wide. And now that foul is going to earn Dante Quintella 2 free throws. He stands on the line and delivers shot number 1. It swishes around and it's not going to go in. .47 on the board for quarter number 3. Quintella receives the ball again. Winds and releases. And he's not going to make that one either. Deshaun Lane steals it away. Left corner. Fakes a shot. Passes it up ahead to Quintella at the left key. And it's back out of play in front of the stands. Some of those fans are getting a nice up-close and personal experience of this game. Quintella with the ball. After receiving the throw-in from Deshaun Lane. Up against the far side. It's Quintella being hounded in by those Mariner defensemen again. Those have been bugging him all afternoon long, and he steps out. Mariner takes the ball once more. Jaquez Dickerson is going to take a seat. David Johnston comes into the game. And Mariner is going to try to create a rush here with 23 seconds on the clock. Spinning around, driving it up the middle was Dominique Carpenter. He flicked the ball over towards Brandon Kostick, who receives the whistle here. And there's another foul. Stepping up to the line for Mariner is Brandon Kostick. Deshaun Lane comes to the sidelines as well. Here's the first shot. It's wide of the net. That was one free throw shot coming in for Brandon Kostick there instead of the 2 free throws we've had for majority of this game. 5 seconds left in your third. Dante Quintella at center court. 1 second, and time is going to expire once again. 45-39, Mariner is in the lead. Not once in your third quarter of play have the Riverdale Raiders taken the lead. It's been all Mariner in your third, and we now wind down to your final 8 minutes of play. So the Raiders, they need to get something going here. We're going to take a quick break, and more basketball will continue right after this on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. All right, so we return to not Carl Engel Field, but none other than the Raider Rock Gym. Well, we got off of the football season a few weeks ago. I guess I'm so accustomed to saying Carl Engel Field. That's our football stadium here at Riverdale High School. It's been a little rough for me here on the broadcast, but we have Sean Kostick taking some free shots to start your fourth quarter. First shot is up and in. Second shot is through as well. So he's going to put 2 extra points on the board for Mariner in this ball game. Sellout crowd at the Raider Rock Gym. And they've been sticking around until the end of this contest. The give and go to Sean Kostick as Mariner has the ball once again. It's going to be picked away by Jaquez Dickerson, and they foul. Ten seconds into your fourth. 7:50 left on the board. Jaquez Dickerson is going to lob it over in Jacob Tracy's direction. Tracy up the middle, loses balance, still somehow manages to give it over to Jaquez Dickerson. He's going to run over Amari Haynes, throws the layup, but is going to miss. Free throws on the way here for Jaquez Dickerson. Jaquez Dickerson, a 6'6" senior. And he is not successful on his first free throw of the quarter. There's a little bit of a stoppage here as the officials were trying to cover up a spot of the basketball court, but they're going to have that all dealt with. And Dickerson can't get the second shot down either. It goes right into the hands of Tyrell Smith. And Mariner is back in the offensive zone. Jamel Myers sends it to Sean Kostick up along the far side. Now up the middle goes Dominique Carpenter. Carpenter sends it right side to Tyrell Smith. Smith breaks open. He's going to fly it on over to Amari Haynes. Jumps, and his shot is not going to count. It went in, but there was a whistle slightly before the ball was released from his hands. Here's some free throw action on the way for Amari Haynes. Opening shot is not going to be put up on the board. Another one is on the way for Amari Haynes. Crowd starting to chant. He nets the basket. 48-39 is now your score. 7:11 left in the game. Jaquez Dickerson throws it up ahead to Jacob Tracy. Tracy, cross feed, ball is loose. It's going to be retrieved by Mariner, but it's going to slip out of play up against the far side. Very slow moving beginning of the fourth quarter. We're still not even a minute into action. Luckily for the Raiders, they have plenty of time to turn things around if they want, and there's a foul being picked up by Jacob Tracy. Offensive foul as he was moving through here. Well, let's wait a minute. That's going to be defense. A defensive foul for the correction, as a man was blocking Jacob Tracy's path. And he steps up to the line. Puts it through. 8-point lead now for Mariner. Tracy up on the line for shot number 2. Lays it up, and it is nothing but net. Raiders down by 7. They need to keep watching that clock, though, and put up some more defensive pressure, because Mariner, they have been attacking offensively, and there's a layup right over the head of Jaquez Dickerson as the basket was being credited to Jamel Myers. Now here's Tracy sending it up the middle to Dickerson. Dickerson trades it back over to Tracy, who's slowly moving down the far side. It's picked off by Isaiah Derritt. Layup rolls wide. Rebound is going to connect from Tyrell Smith. Here's Tracy again. He's being surrounded by Mariner defensemen. He's going to regain possession as he throws it down low to Dean Wilson. Put 3 up on the board. Dominique Carpenter sneaking on into the paint. Shot number 1 is no good. There's going to be a rebound on the way from Trenton Ferrara. That won't be successful either. Here's Jacob Tracy. Tracy up the middle, 3-point shot is going to bounce back down onto the court. Outside, the number 3 trying to go for the long distance shot. Sean Kostick is not going to cash in. Jacob Tracy's going to lose the ball. 2-on-1 advantage from Mariner and the paint. Tracy regains back the ball off of a missed shot. Daniel Malivert spinning around, tossing it back up to the midpoint line to Jacob Tracy. Dickerson, and his shot is money. 52-46 is your score. The Tritons are on top, and there's a foul. Not a foul, now I'm just getting my vocabulary mixed up. But a timeout going to Mariner. So 5:01 left on the board. Once again, 52-46 is your score as Mariner is on top, but right now the Raiders still have a few kinks to work out here if they hope to make a comeback. We'll see if they can do it right after this on the Rush Radio Network. Well, once again, I am mixing up my calls. It's formerly the Rush Radio Network, now the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. 5:01 left to go in this ball game. 52-46 is your score. Mariner is on top, and they're hoping to run out the clock and pick up a victory. Right now you have Mariner in the offensive zone, doing whatever they can to just add the damage and make sure they leave Riverdale High School with a win. Ball goes out of play, and Riverdale is going to get the ball back. It's been a very hectic day. You hear the crowd in the background sell out at Carl Angle Field once again. It's been getting to me, I'll tell you that. It's so loud in here. It's pretty difficult to think in this environment, so I apologize once again if there are any mess-ups. See, it's times like that. That time it's Dean Wilson coming up with a three-pointer from the left corner. Up the middle, number 15 is going to lose the ball. Amari Haynes tried to shake his way past multiple defensemen, but his shot went way wide left of the net. It's going to be tossed back in. Mariner still has control of the ball. It's Jamel Myers sending it over to Jared Velez. Velez sending it back low, up on the far side. Sean Kostick has control. Sliding it deep into the paint, and there's a foul as Isaiah Derritt tried to get his hands on the ball. Isaiah Derritt is going to step up to the free throw line. Raiders are now down by 3. It's hard to believe because it's been a pretty rough game for them. It's been a game filled with turnovers and much more, you name it. It's been chaotic. Opening shot is not going to work out for Isaiah Derritt. 4:04 on the clock, 52-49. Mariner up by only 3. It's going to stay that way as Derritt misses both of his shots. Here's Jacob Tracy. He trips and it's turned over again to Isaiah Derritt. Up the middle, layup, and you can count that deficit for the Raiders to 5 points. Dean Wilson Give and go. To Jacob Tracy up on the right point. Trying to sneak his way in. Three-pointer by Wilson. Misses. Rebound is going to work for Jaquez Dickerson. And now a timeout for Riverdale. They're happy with how things are going, but the pressure is on. Listen to this crowd go wild. Our Raiders chant breaks through. And this keeps on going as Riverdale has the timeout going. So hopefully that chant from the sellout crowd will maybe get the Raiders going here in the final moments. They're down by only 3 points, so let's see if they can make things happen. They have more than plenty of time to work with on the scoreboard, 3:35 left. But these fans, they want to go home happy and see a Raiders win here on a Tuesday afternoon. Jared Velez races out, up against the near side. Velez delivers it down the middle to Jamel Myers. Myers flicks it over to Derritt. Derritt back up down the middle to Amari Haynes trying to sneak into the play. It's Isaiah Derritt. Down the middle, throwing it to the right key to Jared Velez. Jamel Myers, opposite end, now in the paint to Amari Haynes. Shakes off his defenseman and makes a bucket, but it's going to be reversed. It is going to be reversed. And the Raiders are going to get the ball back due to an offensive foul. Fans are loving every minute of it. Raiders slowly gaining momentum. Here's Jacob Tracy outside. Daniel Maliver throws opposite end. Dean Wilson down low. To Jaquez Dickerson, spins, shoots, and he misses. And there's a foul going against the Mariner defense. That was Amari Haynes trying to block the shot. Oh, the tension, the pressure, it is all on the line here. 2:52 left in the ball game. And now you have Jaquez Dickerson up at the line. Shot number one is going to ring off of the iron. Well, you have to be feeling some type of pressure if you're Jaquez Dickerson here. Still, it would be a great opportunity if he can hit this one and make it 2-point disadvantage. And he makes it. All right, so nothing is over just yet. It never was like that anyhow. It's been back and forth basketball. One heck of a game. It's one match for the ages. Jamel Myers handles the ball, bringing it over to the left point to Isaiah Derritt. Derritt controls the ball by himself to the midpoint. Right side now to Jared Velez. Velez waits, looking past his defenseman Daniel Malivert. Opposite end, and the paint to Amari Haynes. Shot is wide. And now Jacob Tracy is going to quickly race it down the opposite end to the paint. Right side. Outer end three is good. Whoa! This ball game, it's all tied up at 54. Coach Damon Jones, he has a smile on his face right now. You can see it. I mean, this is one heck of a turnaround. Now we're tied up at 54, 2:01 left, and now a pair of free throws on the way for Amari Haynes. You could bet Haynes is going to feel the wrath of this crowd here in just a moment. Here we go. He's going to miss the first one. And this brings a word to the crowd. If he can make just one free throw, that'll give this team the lead. Is it good? Yes, it is. So Mariner hops back on top. Meanwhile, Riverdale is going to take the timeout. So we have a few things to work out here, but still, Look at the Raiders coming back from a big disadvantage, and now they're down by just one. Three-pointer from Daniel Maliver tied up the game, but then the free throw shot came for Mariner to give them the lead, 55-54, 2:01 left. Riverdale going to work out a little bit of a game plan here in your final moment. So let's go Raiders chant is coming out all over. The school spirit is showing at Riverdale High School at the Raider Rock Gym. So as we resume play, the Raiders are going to throw this one back in. Jaquez Dickerson to Tracy. Tracy sends it back over Dickerson's way. Jaquez at the right point, making his way in, looking around, throws outside, three-pointer on the way. No, it's short. It's picked away by Amari Haynes. Down to the left corner, back up the middle. Fast-paced basketball, 1:39 left. Mariner up by one. It's Isaiah Derritt, right side, as he sends it to Jared Velez. Velez looking around, tosses it back over Amari Haynes' way, pitches it over to Derritt. Derritt back up the middle, three-pointer is good. That kills the Raider momentum and this crowd a bit, but you could bet they're still going to fight back after all this momentum that we've seen. Jacob Tracy on the outside, far side, cross feed, sends it back the opposite direction to Dean Wilson. Wilson to Tracy, down low, in the paint, up the middle, and there's a shot, but does it count? I believe that shot is not going to count from Jaquez Dickerson. It will not, so it's still a 4-point lead for Mariner. It's going to be thrown back in by the Tritons. Now 1 minute to work with. Nothing is done just yet. Jumper on the way from Amari Haynes. Rebound being provided and scored by Jamel Myers, 60-54. 40 seconds left. Jacob Tracy, the pass, the shot, and the miss. Here's Mariner again. If they can score at least one more time, then this will be a huge upset. Mariner can cap this off right here. 22 seconds is left. Raiders standing around with 17 seconds. There's your stop. 17.7 left in the game, 60-54. Mariner on top. It looks like this game now is just about over. I hate to say that, but the Raiders, they're going to have to scram here. The quickest route would be to make a three-pointer. They'd have to turn over the ball in the defense and then go for another three-pointer, all in 17 seconds. But now, Sean Kostick is going to come up, takes the free throw shot, and it goes wide right. His second shot is through, 61-54. And is this going to be another break? From the looks of it, yes, it's another timeout. Coming from Riverdale here, fans aren't going to give up anyhow. They have the clapping going. Great game here today at Carl Angle Field. Nothing is done yet, but if the Raiders can't pick up the win, they will fall down to a 3-2 win-loss record. They'll go 1-1 on the week, and Mariner will up their record to 3-0. So all we can do at this point is wait out the timeout, play the remainder of this game. And these fans, they want to make sure that the team hears them. Team is in a group right now, coming up with one of those game plans. Who knows what they have in store? All right, so here we go. Players are making their way back out onto the court. So Mariner at this point, they just need to keep the ball out of the hands of the Raiders. All right, so they throw it back in. The Jaquez Dickerson up along the near side. Throws it up the middle. Now to the corner. Deshaun Lane can't take the three-pointer. Goes for it anyways, and he misses. Now 6.2 on the clock. Yep, this one's pretty much out of the hands of the Riverdale Raiders. Raiders throw it back in. It's Wilson. Wilson up the middle. Last second three-pointer is going to miss. And there's a foul by Deshaun Lane with 1 second left. Raiders is trying to stop the clock, but at this point, it's out of reach. And a pair of free throws are coming for Mariners, so there's no point. Well, interesting day today. Amari Haynes is going to come up. Here's his opening shot. It's right up and in. 62-54. Shot number 2. Misses. That's the end of your ball game. 62-54. The Mariner Tritons defeat the Riverdale Raiders. All right, so that's going to do it. Thank you all for listening in to today's broadcast of Riverdale Raiders boys varsity basketball. And these fans are going to clear out. So the Mariner Tritons will advance their record to 3-0. Undefeated on the season. Riverdale now 3-2. We hope you all have a great Thanksgiving break, and we will come back next week with more Raider basketball. But thank you for listening in. This is Nick Rush saying so long from Fort Myers, Florida at Riverdale High School on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network.